Everybody ready? Okay, I'd like to call meeting to order. Roll call.
Mr. Accomando?
Present.
Mrs. Borelli?
Present.
Mr. Cipollone?
Present.
Mrs. Mahoney?
Here.
Mr. Quinn?
Here.
Mrs. Robinson?
Here.
Mr. White?
Here.
Mr. Winnie?
Here.
Mrs. Zattarelli?
Present.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adequate notice of this meeting has been sent to all members of the Board of Education and to the Bergen Record in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act. Can I have a motion to open the meeting to the public for agenda items only? Okay, all in favor? Okay, I gotta read. Residents are requested to state their names, addresses, and subject matter. In the event it appears the public comment portion of the meeting may exceed 45 minutes, the presiding officer may limit each statement made by a participant to 5 minutes duration. Issues raised by members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the board are discouraged and will not be responded to by the board. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded by the laws of New Jersey. The board bears no responsibility, nor will it be liable for any comments made by members of the public. Members of the public should consider their comments in light of the legal rights of those affected or identified in their comments and be aware that they are legally responsible and liable for their comments. So does anyone like to come up? Okay. All right. So seeing no one, I'd like to have a motion to close the meeting to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, so, you want me to say student representative? Okay. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. Before I get started with anything, I'd like to introduce our student reps for this evening, Lauren Spatana and Emma Piccaccini.
For the middle school, high school, the following students will have their photographs featured at the Congressional Art Show at Montclair University's George Segal Gallery on Friday, May 4th at 6 p.m. Emily Greenberg, Taralyn Taylor, Tommy Breedveld, Devin Z. Maria, Summer Alfonso. Check out their great work on our website or the main lobby display board. The middle school, high school welcome best-selling author and speaker Jeff Yelden on Monday to meet with students and share his message about how positive attitudes and actions lead to positive results. Mr. Yelden met with the teachers and parents to discuss suicide awareness and prevention strategies. We would like to thank the Board of Education and Saddlebrook Educational Foundation for supporting this program. Congratulations to all our 7th and 8th grade students who competed in the middle school Battle of the Books. In first place, Nick Obiso, Andrew Pierre Antione, Michael Ramos, Robert Capinos, Patrick Gowell, and in second place, Emma Lee, Yeha Park, Alishba Khan, Lindsay Westner, Nicole Mikowski, and Allison Walby. These students will go on to represent Saddlebrook in the Bergen County Battle of the Books being held in Upper Saddle River on June 1st. Good luck.
For athletics, congratulations to our boys lacrosse team who began the week with a win-loss record of 4-3. This is the first time our varsity boys lacrosse team has over a 500 record. Come support the Saddlebrook High School softball team as we host the Hoffs tournament this weekend at Smith School Field. Our girls play Saturday morning versus Westwood at 9 a.m. and then we'll host 3 more games on Saturday and then 4 games on Sunday. Please come out and support. Congratulations to our senior wrestler, CJ Limitola, on being selected as Saddlebrook High School's Brian Picola Award winner.
For Franklin Elementary School, the Franklin School team won Battle of the Books and got their picture in the paper. Thank you to Miss Augustine for organizing this event. Our March Madness for books concluded with the winner being The Book with No Pictures. If you haven't had a chance to read this book yet, we highly recommend it. Our 4th graders hosted their annual Heritage Fair. The students presented their slideshows and good food was shared by all. Last night, all the third graders shared their recorder talents with their families. Thank you to our music instructors for promoting a love for musical instruments in our students.
Smith Elementary School. Last night, our third graders joined with Franklin and Long Schools in a recorded concert. It was an excellent event, and we really appreciate all the hard work the students and staff put into this concert. Smith School is focusing on spreading autism awareness. Miss Palmieri and Miss Lane's classroom led the way for Autism Awareness Month. Every classroom in Smith School watched an age-appropriate clip explaining what autism is and why certain behaviors occur. Each student in the entire school cut out a puzzle piece, which then came together to create the Autism Awareness Tree. Awareness is growing in Smith School.
Okay.
All right, thank you, ladies. Thanks for your help. Again, I just want to thank Saddlebrook Education Foundation and the board for allowing us to have our guest speaker, Jeffrey Alden, here the other day. Again, that was presented, came through the middle school, high school, Mr. Lawler, but also from Nicole Napolitano and the students in Student Council, who did some research on that and made that an excellent program for all of us. I'm just going to go over the park schedule so that you have it. I'm 90% sure it's on each school's website, but just in case. 7th and 8th grade will be testing April 30th, May 1st, and May 2nd. So that would be, those 3 days will be math and ELA, English Language Arts. We move on to the high school level. We will move on from May 4th through May 8th. And then, at the same time, AP exams start from May 8th to May 18th. There's a lot of testing going on over the next 6 weeks at least. In addition to that, this is very important, the science test under the new standards will take place on May 22nd and May 23rd. That will be for grades 8 and 11, and it will be a delayed opening for all other grades. Okay, so just 8th and 11th grade will have to be here on time for the testing, and the rest of the students will come in. I'll have to double check. I'm sure it'll be out on a schedule, 10 or 10:15 in between there. So that's what's happening here. Moving over to Long School, the language arts will take place from April 23rd through the 25th, and math at Long School will take place from May 7th through May 10th. And embedded into these are also days for makeup days. Going over to Franklin School, English Language Arts will be 4/16, April 16th through the 19th, which means that that started already. And math will take place from April 30th to May 3rd. And again, makeups are in between. And finally, looking at the schedule for Helen Smith. Helen Smith School started yesterday, April 17th, and their testing for math then will be from May 1st through May 10th. So English Language Arts, April 17th through April 25th, math, May 1st through May 10th. So that's the schedule. Everybody's overlapping a little bit, but certainly we're not all on the same exact schedule. There are lots of things to look at when we're doing this because the entire test is online, so there's a lot of bandwidth and a lot of connectivity that we have to be concerned about. Moving on, one of the things that I really am happy to announce, we got this information back in March. It seems that at one point, probably 4 years ago, the middle school was labeled as a focus school. That meant they weren't meeting certain requirements that needed to be in place. We are now being removed. We have been removed as a focus school. The designation for Saddlebrook Middle School effective June 30th. Okay, so that's where we are. So we're in good shape. The measures that they used to see the proficiency was measured using PARCC, SGP scores, chronic absenteeism, and performance on access test. So there's a couple of things that they put together, so I'm happy to report again that we're all in good shape. And eventually we will get to the final CUSAC report as well. And I think that's all I have to talk about. So I'm going to invite Ms. Violetti, where are you? Hi. Ms. Violetti will give a little breakdown on some of the information from Franklin School, and I believe we have a couple of students too, right? Student representatives for another cause. That's good. All right. So.
All right, well, thank you for hosting Franklin School's presentation this evening. There's my school. It's beautiful. If you make it to the top of the stairs, you get a gorgeous view. I think they should still play Rocky music out there, but one of the goals we focused on was communication. So for the last 2 years, I used Twitter, and a lot of the families I found out weren't as comfortable with using Twitter. So this year, I switched to Instagram. I didn't switch. This year I'm using Instagram as well. So I have the settings set so that whatever I post on Instagram gets posted on Twitter and vice versa. So it's the same feed both ways. So I really worked hard on sharing photos of what's going on throughout the day with my families. You know, these days when parents have young children in daycares, you can usually access on your phone videos and pictures of what's occurring during the day, and that's the world that we're living in today. So I try my best to walk around throughout the day and take photos and post them in real time so that the parents have access to them. So as you go through, you get a good representation as to what's occurring in the school throughout the day, and it's all the way from the beginning of the year. And the other piece of it, let me say. So now if I click on one of these, today was Mrs. Takash's last day. She's going on maternity leave. I use a hashtag, so it's Franklin Elementary School, FES 07663. So now whenever you click on that hashtag, you have access to every picture that I've posted with Franklin School. So that way, they are available for everybody, and it was helpful with the yearbook committee as well, so that they had access to all the pictures. The other piece of communication is on the school website. If you go to Franklin Elementary School, we try to keep this all updated, but there's a photo gallery. So if you click on the top one's the Reading Olympics, that's the most recent one. And then you have access to all the photos from that evening's event. The tricky piece is not everyone, we don't have permission to photo every child. We don't have that media release, so it does take time to go through them all. So I try my best to post them in real time. I'm usually successful by the end of the day, so the parents at least know that it was taken from the same day. But definitely does get a little tricky. I'm sure that the other schools spoke about their character programs that they have in their school, so I just wanted to touch base on that as well. Each month, we assign a different character trait. So April, it's trustworthiness, and we have a TV in the main hallway, and we have a slideshow going across that TV at all times. And we always have quotes that go along with the character trait. And then Mrs. Burns, our school counselor, meets with the students and the teacher. She does lessons on that character trait. And then she has her good characters popping up everywhere, where a student from each class is chosen as being an exemplar of that character trait. They have lunch with Mrs. Burns. They fill out a popcorn piece saying how they exhibit that character trait, and we make a big deal about it. We have certificates, we announce it, and that's along with our bucket filling program. We also communicate well with the SBEF, and each year my teachers apply for grants, and this is one of the grants that we received this year with robots in one of our resource rooms. The other thing that goes across the television screen are birthdays. So I take each student's birthday, we post it, they slide across that screen, we announce it in the morning. They get really excited about it. And the summer birthdays, that's always the question. Yes, we do acknowledge the summer birthdays in June to make sure that no one's left out. But the kids get really excited about it, and they'll let me know the countdown to their days of their birthday, which is really cute. We also started having our student council come to PTO meetings, and they present what they're doing. So each month our student council focuses on a different fundraiser, a different community activity. So this one, that they're sharing here is actually this year for Field Day, we decided to do something different at Franklin School that we haven't done before. We're having our students create drawings to be on the front of the t-shirt. So here we presented it to the PTO, and the PTO voted. So everyone that was in attendance that evening at the meeting got to vote. And you see there's 5 on that poster. They voted for the top 3. And then the top 3, you'll see those 2 girls. The third girl, I didn't have the media release for them, so that's why there's only 2 pictured there. But those are the top 3 choices. And then from there, the entire school voted the next day at lunch, and we have our winner. So we are excited for Field Day this year. And then I also wanted to acknowledge that I did have a group of 5th grade students come to me to ask about starting a school newspaper at Franklin School. And I wanted to acknowledge them because they were in 5th grade. There was about 5 or 6 of them. And they really liked all the communication that was going out. And they wanted to come together, and they put together a whole slideshow. So instead of just coming to my office and saying, hey, how about doing a school newspaper? They actually presented. They put together this whole slideshow explaining why we should have a school newspaper. I did work with them for their first issue. We put together one. We published it. I gave them all colored pink copies of it. And then we put it out to the whole school, and it actually didn't take very well after that. But it was a little tricky finding a teacher leader at this point. But it was a really good experience for them, and I just wanted to acknowledge what they did. One of the other pieces at Franklin School that we focused on was positive communication. So February was our month of caring. That was our character trait. So for our Monday meetings in the month of February, we asked the teachers to make positive phone calls home. So I asked them to send me some of their responses that they received from parents. So that's what's up here. It was very positive all around. You could definitely hear the parents starts to relax. The top one was so sweet from one of the moms. A lot of the teachers, what I discovered is they don't like calling home. They like to email. Actually talking on the phone for young people apparently is a big deal. They like to text, email. To actually talk on the phone was something different for them. So it took some pep talk going on, but they did it. And you'll see, I got to speak to the mom, and her response to the call was all worth it. She was so happy and surprised, amazed at all the progress. Thank you for the push to do this. They did the happy dance. Really appreciated the little things. The mom said she had the parent said that she had a really bad day, was feeling down. She was so appreciative. Parents were thrilled. One said I made her so happy she started to tear up. Very positive feeling, but so scary. I think I have talking on the phone anxiety. So definitely took a lot, but we spent our Monday meetings walking through scripts and things like that, and we received a lot of positive feedback from that. And since then, I'm so happy to say that a lot of my teachers have been coming to me, and they're sharing more positive things with our families. So I felt like that push was really successful. And at this point, I have 2 very special helpers. So I have Daniel Spano and Emily Mansfield. And they're going to come up, and I'm going to actually let them come on up, guys.
So, hi, my name is Emily Mansfield, and this is Daniel.
Hello.
And we are here to present and ask for a bike rack for our school because we think that this would be a nice addition to our school in many different ways.
Franklin School gets approximately 20 minutes of recess each day, and that's all the outside time we get. If we had if we rode our bikes to school, it could give us better exercise in the morning and afternoon each day.
It could save gas money or help with the environment because without using a car to drive to your school, all your parents need to do is drive to work. You won't believe how much money you'll save if you ride your bike to school every day for a month.
Traffic and arrival and dismissal could cause problems, so bicycles can help with this.
It could help our parents out because they need to get to work, so while we're on our bikes, they're in their cars.
It could show more independence and responsibility to parents through children's actions with our bicycles.
Here are some things that will be required to use the bicycle rack. We will need locks for the bikes so that they don't get stolen or damaged during school hours.
We will need to wear helmets and keep them on whenever we are on the bicycle because if we're not, we could get seriously injured.
And here are some solutions to problems. We could add some locks with combinations to the bicycle rack so that if children forget their lock, they won't have to risk having their bicycle stolen. However, it doesn't really matter if we can't provide them on the bicycle lock already. We could be responsible and buy our own.
That concludes our presentation. Thank you.
Emily and Daniel, you want to look at Mr. Karate over there and wave? And that's it for our presentation. Thank you.
Poor Mr. Karate.
That bike presentation, they made that presentation themselves. And we had the bike squad from, I think, Warfield PD come in, and they did a presentation with our upper grade students, and that's what started the idea.
Yeah. Thank you. A very nice job. Very nice. Good work. Yep. Talk to him. The other night when we had a parent meeting that I was talking about before, I had to have Ray take a little bit of a beating over school buses. So he's going to buy more school buses and a bicycle rack. There we go.
You won't need the bicycle.
That's right. Everybody come by bicycle. That's it. Perfect. But I am very happy to see that you did include the helmets in there and the locks. That's very important. So certainly we don't want anybody coming to school with the proper bicycle riding attire, which is very important. So those helmets, okay? And then maybe if we get that far, we can look for a place where possibly you keep the helmets in school somewhere, or instead of leaving them outside, we can look at that, okay? Good. Again, thank you. I just want to point to two real quick things that I thought I might have seen in the presentation, and I'm not disappointed that I didn't, but I do want to inform you that at Franklin School last Monday, Congressman Pasquarello was here, came in to see our LEAD program, came along with Chief Kugler, and sat through an entire lesson and spoke to the kids, and I think they really had a great time. It was the sixth grade students over at Franklin, very well behaved, very respectful, and the interaction with the congressman and everybody else was excellent, so congratulations again, Ms. Violetti. And also, last Friday, our what's that gifted is Talented and Gifted program, TAG. That program of the Miss Augustine had also put together a Mars, was I guess a unit that they did on Mars, and all the fourth graders through seventh grade or eighth grade? Seventh or eighth, somewhere in there, with the help, okay, seventh? 4 through 6, and you were there as a high school student helping, so I remember that. So that went very well. The students took drop cloths, plastic drop cloths, along with lots of duct tape, and created their pods to live in, and every one of the pods was blown up with a fan, and they lived inside there. In fact, their assignment was to bring lunch that was taking place at 11 a.m., and the lunch couldn't weigh more than 22 ounces. Miss Wonder took me around in that room, and I got to speak to Miss Augustine and a couple of the students, and I was very impressed with what I saw. So just amazing, really good job. They even created their own rocks and wagons to collect. So that was a very positive thing for all of us to see that. Thank you. All right. Should we move to the agenda?
Yes.
Okay.
We have an item on discussion and closed. Are we taking action when we come out?
I think so.
It's a definite maybe.
Oh, well, okay. 'Cause
Yeah.
if not, I'd like to make a motion to close and discuss.
No, we're going to go into close at the end, and we'll come back if we have to vote. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. Definite maybe? No, we don't.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to move on then to the educations.
Do the committees first.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
So, committee report, Education Committee report, Mr. Quinn?
Yes, the Education Committee met on April 10th at 5 p.m. Mr. Lawler, Ms. Coffey, and Ms. Selma all joined us to give us updates on some of the educational matters. We went through the CUSAC review and did very well with it. Everyone from CUSAC was very happy with their visit to Franklin School, with the amount and quality of the writing that was displayed on the walls and the level libraries. They were very impressed by how well our children wrote compared to other schools. They were happy with the curriculum they saw and the curriculum binders, and that our policies were much more up-to-date from the last time they were here. However, starting on July 1st, there's a new CUSAC format being used, which we have 3 years to prepare for. Some of the main changes are going to be in world language, which needs to have more time, phys ed, and we need to be offering dance and theater classes at which all instructors at middle and high school levels will need to be certified. With CUSAC, middle school includes grades 6, 7, and 8. So anytime CUSAC is saying middle school, they are including sixth graders with that. Moving on to curriculum issues, in science and math, we need to make the curriculum a little bit more in-depth and match what we're really doing. The scope and sequence needs to reflect the true time we're spending on those subjects. The sixth grade needs to be included as a middle school, so more time needs to be found for math and science in the schedule for sixth graders. They were very happy to see hard copies of all of our curriculum in the superintendent's office. We will be keeping them there at all times. Moving on with curriculum, AP courses are in approval process now. Science and math main courses will be worked on over the summer and will hopefully all be ready in September. The overall goal is to have all courses, including electives, finished by the end of the summer 2019. Once the curriculum is written for a course, it is reviewed yearly and revised as necessary. We have a very active summer program coming up, which started a couple years ago with Frank Ortega in the Arts Summer Program. This year, in July, we have the Summer Arts Academy, the STEM Academy with robotics in the morning and tech in the afternoon, and the Summer Enrichment, which is language arts and math. In August, we have both morning and afternoon sessions, visual arts concentrated program, photography, and advanced robotics. The STEM courses are running now. They started with the middle school, and the advanced courses will begin running next year. With STEMCom, we're hoping to revise that a little for next year and make it more of a competitive event with other high schools in the area, or schools in the area, not just high schools. Excellent news, as of June 30th this year, our middle school will no longer be considered a focus school, which is excellent news. One thing I want to mention on the testing situation that's all coming up with Park. We finally have enough Chromebook carts so that the computer labs will be able to stay open for classes and student use and will not be needed for testing. So that's a great advantage for all of the students that are not involved in testing at the moment. Teen Pep has consistently had strong enrollment. It currently has 22 students enrolled for next year. There were absolutely no issues with the program this year. Everything went very well. It is a national program with full curriculum funded by grants from the New Jersey Department of Health. This coming year, there will be no overnight trip. Instead, the class will do a 2-day in-service at the high school and go home each night. The administration fully supports the class, and we'll do another assessment of the program next December. Our next meeting is scheduled for May 1st, 2018. The committee approves of all the items listed above and on the agenda. Are there any questions?
Through the chair, are we going to make a motion to accept this?
I can't hear.
The committee report? Are we accepting the committee report or?
It's a report.
This is the report and the items.
No, you don't have to. So,
Any other questions? Okay, I would like to make a motion for the education agenda items 1 through 6.
Do you want me to, what I'd like to do? Yeah, just what I'd like to do is only because there are so many things under number 1, in number 1, just go through 1 through 17.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's just, give everybody a chance to just look at that.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion for education agenda items number 1, which covers 1 through 117.
Second.
Okay.
Oh.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Well, was there a motion called on?
Yes, he said a motion.
Okay.
Mrs. Mahoney? Yes. Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Winnie?
Yes, but I abstain from 1-1. Actually, item number 1, I guess.
Yeah, that's it, right.
ID 1.
You know what I meant, I do 1.
That's it.
Got it. Mrs. Zattarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
Mrs. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Cipolone?
Yes.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes.
Yeah, that's everybody.
Okay, for education, items number 2 through 6. Can we go through 6 on this
Yeah,
one? Tim?
that's fine.
2 through 6.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Any discussion? Okay, roll call?
Mrs. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Winnie?
Yes.
Mrs. Zattarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
Mrs. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Cipolone?
Yes.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes. Okay, Budget, Finance, Facilities Committee report, Mr. Accomando.
Yes. At our meeting, we discussed the change order to C&M doors, windows, and framing for main office. New copier lease. Most of the school district will be replaced or moved around. Most of the copiers will be moved around on a need basis. Copiers have software that will help the district print rules to report, to save money. The budget has been sent to the county for tentative approval. Security, we discussed parent traps in all schools and the possibility of getting grants towards security. Food service, Mr. Karate will be working with Pomptonian on the renewal contract for 18 and 19, and there's 2 years left before it goes out to bid. We discussed cookies for sale in all the elementary schools. They're probably going to be whole grain or, yeah.
Delicious.
Yummy. Proposed middle school, a proposed meeting is set for May 21st to discuss this with public. And our next meeting is scheduled for May 1st, 2018. And that's my report.
Okay, thank you.
Can I get any questions, discussion? Motion?
You can make the motion, by the way.
Motion.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Well, for items 1 through 6.
1 through 6,
Right.
right? Yeah.
1 through
1
through 11.
Is it okay if we move 1 through 11? Everyone, it's okay?
Just give them time.
Some time to look at it, sure.
Motion or no?
You did. You did.
Oh, my bad.
Okay. Do we have a second? Do we have a second?
Yes.
Okay. Roll call?
Mrs. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Winnie?
Yes.
Mrs. Zattarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
Mrs. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Cipolone?
Yes.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes. Okay, I just want you to know this is a new procedure, that's why we're a little, we're trying to get used to it ourselves. Okay, Mrs. Zattarelli, Policy Committee report?
Short and sweet. There was no meeting, there was no changes to any policies, there were no updates. I had the highest one.
Yay!
Yeah. Okay, the policies listed, can I please have I need to open the meeting to the public for comments on the policies and regulations listed on page 6 of the agenda. Can I have a motion?
Second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the meeting's open to the public on the committee, the policies listed here, number 1, 2, 3. Does anyone like to speak from the public? Okay, so I will close the meeting to the public. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great. Okay, next one. Mr. Winnie, Personnel Committee, no? No, oh, what? Oh, we have to approve that, sorry. Sylvia, you want to make a motion?
Motion to approve the policy,
Second.
number 1. So
Okay.
moved.
Second, okay. Mike said second, and Regina. Yeah, do we need all in favor, or you need roll call?
Roll call.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Winnie?
Yes.
Mrs. Zattarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
Mrs. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Cipollone?
Yes.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes. Okay, sorry, now. Mr. Winnie, Personnel Committee report?
The Personnel Committee met on April 5th, and we also had a second meeting on April 10th. Start time was 4:30 and 7:30 for the 10th meeting. Items discussed was the position of a technology data coordinator. And then we also reviewed all of the agenda items, and the Personnel Committee recommends these items for approval. Our next meeting is scheduled for May 1st, time to be determined, and our meeting times ended at 6 p.m. and 9:10 p.m. respectively.
Okay. Do you want to make the
Any
motion?
questions?
Good. Any questions? Okay.
No? Can I have a motion to approve
A lot of
D,
pages.
1 through, Tony, you want me to just go all the way through, or 1 through 9?
I'll just do 1 through 9.
1 through 9?
Motion?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, roll call?
Mrs. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Winnie?
Yes.
Mrs. Zattarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
Mrs. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Cipollone?
Yes.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes.
And can I have a motion as well to approve items 10 through 13?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll,
Chair,
go ahead.
I just want to ask, on some of these summer program positions, the people who are over 18 who aren't currently employed in district, are they fingerprinted?
Yes, I
We do,
yeah,
yes, we do the fingerprint, yeah.
that I know for a fact. That one I
Even if
do
they
know.
just graduated from the high
Yeah.
school.
I think even if they're students, they get
Well,
fingerprinted, everybody. No, they have to, they changed it a few years ago. Everybody gets fingerprinted. Okay. All right. Any other discussion? Okay, roll call?
Mrs. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Winnie?
Yes, but I abstain from 10 ID number 46.
Mrs. Zattarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
Mrs. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Cipollone?
Yes.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes.
Okay, and for items 14 through, taking all the way down to 18, are there any questions? Okay, can I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Okay. Roll call?
Mrs. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Winnie?
Yes.
Mrs. Zattarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Accomando?
Yes.
Mrs. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Cipollone?
Yes.
Mrs. Robinson?
Yes. Okay. Negotiations,
We met with the SBDA, we have 2 future dates coming up, and we're meeting with the custodians next week.
okay. Thank you. Anything under legal? No, right? Okay, so are there any other committee reports? If there, just anything else? Okay. Any correspondence? Ray, anything?
No.
No? Okay, any old business? I have just something quick for old business. I know it was mentioned twice already about Jeff Yeldon coming for the students and then for the parents on Monday. It was very good because we were all here. It was an excellent presentation, and I think it was great to have it at this time. And then the second part of this is half of it was funded through the Saddlebrook Educational Foundation. The foundation's having the 5K run walk on April 28th. every dollar the foundation raises comes directly back to the school. It just comes right back. I say we because I'm part of it. They do a lot of grants like Ms. Violetti said, for all different things. Also funding these kind of programs, but we really need the support of the parents and the teachers to help it be successful. We have sponsors, which is really great for the 5K, but we don't have enough runners or walkers. And that's something we're looking for. We're looking for teams at each school. We give a discount to the teachers and the staff, so I'm just pushing it. You could just walk, you could just sign up and hang out with me, so whatever you want to do. Because I can't walk, I have to work it, but we just really like, to get a little more support, and I'm just pitching that out there because, like I said, the funding comes right back to the students in the district and for the teachers, so I had to do that. Okay.
What time is that on the 28th?
At 9.
9 o'clock? And we can walk, right? So if I want to get my 10,000 steps for the day, I can do it there?
Yes.
9 p.m.? Perfect timing for me. I'm just about ready.
Just get warmed up.
There are posters around the school. I think it's runsignup.com. I don't have a poster with me, but it's on the website. It's on the school website.
And we have signs posted outside.
And there's signs, outside. We just want to get more people. The kids, anybody, just come, be there. We need bodies there. Our sponsors like to see people there, so that would be great. I really have to pitch it, sorry. All right, under new business, any new business? Okay, I have new business too. Okay, so on May 1st is it 8 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay, we're having the final budget meeting, if you'd like to attend, in the media center. The budget went to the county, then we do our final approval of the budget. On May 21st, this is information. From 5:30 to 7:30, we're going to have a meet and greet for the new superintendent. So we'd like to get the word out, to have parents, staff, whoever wants to come, 5:30 to 7:30 on May 21st. And then at 7:30, we're going to have a presentation on the proposed new middle school. So we really like to get the word out. We're thinking about having a new middle school built in this town, and we're going to talk about what we're trying to do with that. And a lot of that has to do with the space and with the 6th, 7th, and 8th curriculum for middle school. So if you can get the word out, we'll get the word out too, but just to start getting the word out that to meet the new superintendent, and to also hear about the proposed planning for the new middle school.
Can I just back that up with, and certainly I look forward to having the meeting with the new superintendent. That means I'm done on June 30th, but no, I like it here. No problems. But I do want to emphasize the fact that what happens moving forward when we're talking about this new middle school, there are going to be some committees that are going to be needed. We want input from parents and students and, our professionals, our teachers. So there will be some committees that are going to be needed, and we certainly hope that once we make the announcements for the committees, that we do have people that are willing to spend some time. This would be a great thing for Saddlebrook, for this to happen. Again, we're looking at, the middle school as being 6 through 8. We know that the elementary schools, although we've made some changes with some areas, I'll say they weren't classrooms, which we're using, and we were able to get waivers to use for classrooms, for resource rooms, and so on and so forth. Although it's better, it's not perfect, and we certainly can use the additional space by moving the 6th graders out of those schools and getting them into their own buildings. So hopefully this will be successful. Like any other big project, it's not cheap, but you have to look at what the outcome is for the students and for the community as well. So just keep that in mind. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now, can I have a motion to open the meeting to the public?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the meeting is now open to the public. For anyone to come up and speak, please come to the microphone, state your name and address.
Good evening. I'm Ellen Josephson, 471 North Midland. I'm here tonight representing the Saddlebrook Education Association. On behalf of myself as Vice President, Ariana as President, and part of our Rep Council that is here this evening, we just really want to thank the Board of Ed for supporting the school and the community in the last couple of months. It meant a lot to us that you took the extra effort to not only provide the in-service for the students on Monday, but to get all the staff together from all the school buildings Monday after school. It was a wonderful presentation and part of a really good healing process for our staff, and we just really wanted to thank the Board of Ed for doing that for us. We also wanted to let the Board of Ed know a few things we're doing for the community. We're trying to support the Saddlebrook community. We just made a substantial donation to the Saddlebrook Volunteer Ambulance. And to support our school as well, we just made a large donation to the class of 2018. Thank you.
Thank
Good, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak?
My name is Monty Iannello, 36 Platt Ave. My topic is regarding the reappointment of Coach Petrie. Today I am speaking to you as a soccer parent and not the wife of an administrator in the district. I am typically not very vocal in the community to respect my husband's position in the district. However, after hearing my daughter's character being attacked in the February Board of Ed meeting and around town by Mrs. Ween and Mr. Larson, I simply will not stay quiet. I want to start by stating Mrs. Ween declared some false statements in the Board of Ed meeting about my daughter. Mrs. Ween stated many partial truths that evening in a public forum that was broadcasted to taint and discredit my daughter and my husband. Mrs. Ween started her speech that evening about a soccer meeting that took place on January 16th. This meeting was held by the rec department for those individuals who wanted to participate in spring soccer. It had nothing to do with the high school soccer team. As such, many of the members of the high school team were not in attendance. Yet she based her speech that evening on the on secondhand information and the interpretation of her daughter that attended that meeting. In this speech, she also stated that her daughter was surprised that Coach Petrie was not being rehired. Then Mrs. Ween stated my daughter started a group text declaring Coach Petrie was fired and 4 other applicants had applied for the position. The date of that group text is December 8th, and her daughter was on the group text. I would like the board to understand that this said text message was actually started by another team member. And it was started because the coach had contacted that team member regarding training. During the course of the group text, yes, my daughter did mention that she was fired. However, she announced that Coach Petrie was fired was because she didn't understand why Petrie had communicated with a player when she knew she was not being reappointed. During this text strand, another female teammate also confirmed that Coach Petrie was not being rehired. So apparently, other team members did know that she wasn't being rehired. Now I ask, how was Mrs. Ween's daughter surprised at the meeting, at the rec department meeting on January 16th, if she was part of the group text on December 8th? Mrs. Ween also stated that Bianca announced 4 other applicants had applied for this position. However, at the time of the group text, the job had not been posted. The coaching position was posted January 18th. So again, I ask, how could my daughter announce 4 people had applied for a job that had not been posted, let alone that there were 4 applicants? As of today's date, only 1 person has applied and 1 person has inquired for said position. Unlike Mrs. Ween, I have proof of the facts that I am stating here today. To add insult to injury, Mr. Larson referred to my daughter as a modern-day Paul Revere, which is irresponsible. This is an adult man talking about my child in a public forum that is broadcasted. Is this the standard we want to present to our youth? Name-calling is a form of bullying, which is an epidemic portions in our society. And then to laugh off when the board attorney redirected his behavior is a display of his disgusting moral compass. Mr. Larson should reflect on who encouraged his daughter to play soccer, because it wasn't Coach Petrie, it was actually my husband. At this point, Coach Petrie was notified that she was not going to be recommended for next year. Administration, as well as parents and other players, were aware of this decision. Currently, to the best of my knowledge, there is no board-approved policy on announcing coaches not being rehired. I believe the focus of the text message should be placed on an ex-coach contacting a team player regarding coaching matters when she knows she is no longer a coach. Coach Petrie contacting the team players directly is a violation of the Saddlebrook Board of Education Electronic Communication Policy number 3283 between teaching staff members and students, and policy number 4283 between support staff members and students. Both policies were approved by the Board of Ed on September 10th, 2014. That being said, I would like to know why it was such a big deal that my daughter was speaking to her teammates and mentioned that Coach Petrie wasn't coming back. Again, Coach Petrie had been notified of this decision. Coach Petrie not being rehired was announced like every other topic in this town by word of mouth. The difference here is that Coach Petrie, Mrs. Ween, Mr. Larson decided to blame my daughter and sensationalize a non-issue to deflect her coaching deficiencies and to meet their agenda. Mrs. Ween then stated that perhaps the athletic director should not perform observations, which is a part of his job description, because his daughter is on the team. His judgment has never been called into question, and there have been other instances where our daughter's teachers have been observed by him. My husband has always approached every aspect of his job with professionalism. Bianca has played basketball this winter season. I asked the board, compare the basketball coach's observation with Coach Petrie's, see if there's a difference. We pay taxes in Saddlebrook. Our children have the right to play sports here. In addition, Mrs. Ween has referred to most of the soccer players and parents feel the same way about Coach Petrie. I pay dues to the Parent Soccer Association, which Ms. Ween is not the president of. There has been no group meeting or discussion held by said association or any private meeting regarding the situation to infer a we. In fact, only a certain number of parents were contacted by Coach Petrie in her plight for redemption. Unlike Mrs. Ween, I will not speak for others. My daughter and I most certainly do not share Mrs. Ween's feelings about Coach Petrie. Altogether, there is no we in this situation, and most certainly not all of us want Coach Petrie back. Yet there was another adult to speak about my 14-year-old daughter this evening. I was perplexed how Ms. Toller could have anything to say about my daughter when she has never played with Bianca, nor is part of the current soccer team. Ms. Toller graduated when Bianca was in the 7th grade. When she played soccer, Coach Petrie was the assistant coach. Coach Petrie was granted the head coach position after Ms. Toller graduated. Therefore, there's a major difference between the two posts. In addition, I'm not sure how a young woman who's not a parent would know how a scorned parent would look or feel. Then to insinuate my husband was upset that Coach Petrie did not favor my daughter with playing time is simply ridiculous. Bianca started many games and received more playing time than some of her teammates, oftentimes playing the entire game. I would believe it would behoove Ms. Toller to review what discovery and fact-finding is prior to entering law school. I would like the board to understand, prior to this situation, Bianca and I were indifferent to Coach Petrie as a coach. What changed our minds was how she used my daughter as a scapegoat to blame her poor job performance. To blame a child for your poor job performance is just reprehensible. As an educator, to see another educator fault their job performance on a child is unprofessional and unethical. Furthermore, let's discuss her judgment. When this situation arose, her first reaction was not to follow proper protocol, but rather to enlist the help of other adults to blame my 14-year-old daughter by spreading rumors, making accusations without any proof. Is this the judgment of a coach that represents the values of Saddlebrook sports? Do we really want this person to be a role model to our student athletes? At this time, I would like to thank the board for giving me the opportunity to right the wrongs that were stated against my daughter. I would also like to thank them for their due diligence for hearing all sides in this matter and for investing the time to make a decision that is in the best interest of all of the players on our soccer team. Finally, I would like to end my statement with a quote from Martin Luther King. As he said, "The time is always right to do what is right." I believe it would be right for Mrs. Ween, Mr. Lawson, Ms. Toledo, and Coach Petrie to stop blaming my daughter for Coach Petrie's deficits in coaching, spreading lies about Bianca, and trashing her character. Thank you.
Thank
Just
you.
I have a question, if I could. You were saying that there were 4 people? They were
That's
saying
what
that there
she
were
stated.
4
She
people who
stated-
put in for the position?
Yes,
But then you said there was only 1.
there was one, yes.
Okay, where do you get that information from?
I asked, how many people have applied for the position?
Because we don't even know.
Well, maybe then you should ask, because I'm at liberty to ask a question like that, and I asked. Correct? I asked the athletic director.
The athletic supervisor.
The athletic supervisor, yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
She wasn't supposed to be.
Anyone else wish to be heard, like to speak?
Bianca Anello, 36 Platt Avenue. Good evening, everyone. My name is Bianca Anello, and I'm a student athlete on the girls soccer and girls basketball teams here at Saddlebrook High School. I've been playing sports for as long as I can remember, and I owe much credit to them for making me the person I am today. I know there has been much discussion for a fair span of months over the lack of the reappointment of Coach Petrie. It's very easy to get sucked into taking different sides, but that's how World War I started. Different people took different sides over one issue that did not need to be ever so large, and the ones affected convinced the others to go to war. But through both world wars, many people forgot why they were fighting, and I think we can learn from that with our own community matters. My purpose of speaking is to reshift the focus of the issue back onto who it affects the most, the girls soccer players of this high school. Something I've learned from all my years of playing sports at countless levels is that teenage girls are almost always willing to speak up when they don't like a coach. However, not one girl has felt the urge to speak up at a meeting about how much they love the coaching and enjoyed the season that was given to us by Coach Petrie. Not one has taken the initiative to really come fight for her. Listening to what everyone has said regarding this complication, it seems as though this has become an adult issue. Parents are coming to the board with secondhand information they got from their daughters, but none of my teammates are willing to come forward and share with the board what they took out of the season. It is really the adult members of the community that have taken it upon themselves to reverse the executive decisions of those who do this as a profession. I think that's what bothers me the most, because high school girls soccer should not be a game of politics. We are all young girls that spend countless hours conditioning, training, working on our own time, and studying the sport because we truly love to do so. The focus of the matter is truly who is best for our team, and there were many arguments last season. I have seen all types of different coaching from all different sports on all different levels, but I have never been on a team with as much tension between the coaching staff and the players as I did last season. Ladies and gentlemen, only one of those two variables can be manipulated by the experimentalists in a high school setting. I've been playing soccer for the past 8 years of my life. I think this sport is beautiful, as it builds so much character for all the players on the pitch and requires them to work together in order to reach success. That being said, if Coach Petrie were to be rehired, I don't think I would be able to play soccer in a high school, which would probably translate to me never playing an organized NJSIAA or AYSO game for the rest of my life. I know that on her campaign trail she had used me in one way or another, Coach Petrie, and I think that's morally wrong. I've never met a good coach that blamed a single player on a loss, let alone a non-renewal of a contract. I don't feel safe with her, and I don't feel like I'll be treated as an athlete under her. To the board, I wish you to have all the facts in mind when making a decision regarding Coach Petrie. This decision will greatly affect the lives of all the student athletes involved, for this is why we're really here discussing this issue. I am here for the kids of this district, and a reset is always needed at a time at war. And, of course, thank you for providing me with this platform.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else from the public? Okay. Can I have a motion to close the meeting to the public?
So,
Second.
Can I just go to
Sure.
old news for 1 second?
Sure.
Because I do want to, on May 26th or 27th, I invited 2 counselors here from West Bergen Mental Services, who came in and spoke to approximately 40, 45 people that showed up that evening. They donated their time. They spent a lot of time here talking to parents about things that they can do in working with the child if experienced even from anything from school refusal, anxiety, and everything in between. So I publicly want to thank them for their time coming here and putting on that presentation, and for those of you who did attend. So thanks again.
Thank you. Okay, all right, so now we need to have a motion to go into closed session. Can I have a motion, please?
Second.
Okay, can you roll call, all in favor? All in favor? Okay, any opposed? I have to read my statement again. To recess to close executive session to discuss personnel matters and HIB investigations per New Jersey SA 1046, etc., Open Public Meeting Act. The subject matter discussed may be disclosed to the public if and when the need for confidentiality no longer exists. Action will be taken when the board convenes an open session. Okay, so that's it? We're good? We're good. So, thank you.